Welcome back, guys. In this video, I've got an HP with the dead battery, but we're gonna do a solid state drive upgrade to this thing and make it 10 times quicker, and I'm gonna show you the difference before and after when I put it in. Like, this thing's really cool. It's got a touch screen, so you can do all that, and it's pretty responsive, which is good. It's only about 5 years old, but with that old school hard drive in there, it makes things just painfully slow. Like, I went to go check on the hard drive to see what the hard drive was in here, and just clicking on the file, and then you have to wait like 10 seconds before that populates after starting up. It's so slow. But with this awesome hard drive, someone at work got this, and he's wanting to do an upgrade on his computer, and this was a Black Friday sale, super cheap, but he got that, and we're going to put it in here, and you're gonna see how much better, and it just makes this whole thing basically a new computer. So it's gonna have to be plugged in, because he just figured out today that this battery needs to be replaced. It's 5.5 years old, like I said, and it's dead. No charging, nothing. So he grabbed one of those on Amazon for about 40 bucks for an even better one that it came with. But I'm gonna plug this in and let's take a look. All right, so this is our first test. I'm just gonna boot it up, and we're gonna see how long it takes from a cold boot to get to the starting screen. And we have all the icons pop up. Jesus fudge, that took forever. And now they've got all the little shortcut arrows. Even though everything's all loaded up here, you can definitely hear the hard drive still working on stuff, but it's just painfully slow. So let's click on our little file down here. Wait. And we're done. So now we're in here, and I came through here to see Windows C. That's our hard drive that's in here, and I came in here, and that's basically all I've done just to make sure this was actually a hard drive. But as soon as I saw how long it took to boot, I knew this was a hard drive, and it definitely did need an SSD upgrade. This is just insanely slow. Let's try something else. Let's hit desktop. It's a little bit quicker. There's not a whole lot for desktop. I don't want to go through any of his stuff, but that's how fast it goes through file stuff. Okay, so I just hooked up my Ethernet cable, so this is going as fast as humanly possible, hard-lined. So let's do some browser stuff. So I'm actually gonna use a touchscreen, because hell, why not? It's a touchscreen. Okay, Google finally decided to boot up now. Let's go to YouTube.com. See how fast it gets to YouTube. Now, a lot of this has to do with RAM, but this is still a really good indication of how quick it can and cannot go with a hard drive. In crackers, Batman, I am going to run out of room on my camera before this test is done. Okay, that's as much as I'm gonna do. I think you get the point. It's slow. Let's see how much faster we can make it. Like I said, it's about a 5-year-old computer. Let's see how fast we can make this by putting in the SSD. Alright, so I'm gonna do a fresh install of Windows 10. He hasn't used this for a while, so he doesn't have anything important on here, so I'm just gonna do a fresh install, just completely wipe it and have Windows on there, none of that bloatware stuff. So I've got my USB inserted in here. All you gotta do is go over to Microsoft and create installation media for Windows. You can Google it, it'll take you right to support.microsoft.com. I'm gonna come down here, I'm gonna grab the latest one, which is Windows 10, click on that, and just basically follow the instructions. Super simple. Go in here whenever it decides to load itself up. I'm going to follow the steps, download it onto my USB, and then I'm going to use that USB drive for a bootable drive when I get to that point. So once it's loaded up, I'm going to hit Download Tool. Once that's done, right down here, we got it installed, so we're going to click on that EXE. After what it seems like forever, go ahead and accept those terms after you read every little bit of them, and continue waiting. And after I died of boredom and came back, I'm going to click on Create Installation on USB, so it's that second option, so I'm not upgrading this one. And it's going to be English, Windows 10. Really, I don't need to have this clicked, but that's exactly what I'm going to use. English, Windows 10, 64-bit. Next. And onto a flash drive. This is the one I'm going to be using right there. That's the only one I have plugged in. And now we download. And finally, after sitting here for so long my legs are numb, my USB flash drive is finally ready. Then once you hit continue, you get to wait even longer while the setup is doing that. And it's done! Alright, so now I'm going to shut this down. I've already got my thumb drive with that bootable Windows 10. So now that this is shutting down, I'm going to close this. And as soon as it's done, there it goes. I'm going to close this down. I'm going to take the power off so I don't have anything in there. Battery's not even in right now because it's dead. It's just purely running off of wall power. But now that that's done, I'm going to flip this around to the back. I'm going to get a few screws out, and that's really all we need. So here's the laptop flipped over on the back, and it's very simple to see where all the screws are. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you do have to remove the battery anyway. So you just move these little tabs on both sides, battery pops out, and you've got one over here and one over here. All right, now I have all the screws that you can see out, which means I think this screw and this screw back here is making this hard drive stay in place, so we can slide that out of the way. There we go. Now there's 2 more screws that you can't see. There are underneath these 2 rubber feet over here, so we're just going to have to peel these up. I just cut my nails, so this is not going to happen. Oh, here it comes. There it goes. So we're going to peel these back. Hopefully it should have enough little sticky power to go back on. If not, I've got some glue I can do. But right in there, we've got another screw in there, and same thing on this other side. So after we got those 2 extra screws out underneath those rubber feet, now we can separate the bottom part from the chassis of the actual computer here. So this is the little tool I'm going to use, really helpful since it has that curved edge. This one is from iFixit. I did that when I did my phone repairs. So you just have to kind of push it down in there, it hooks it, turn it, and you can see the side. Just like that, it is out. And there is the beautiful back. So here is a better look of the inside of the computer. Here is a hard drive we're going to replace, and if he ever does want to upgrade the computer more, it looks like he's got an entirely open RAM spot up here. So I do have a ton of RAM like this. However, the speeds are slower on mine, so if I did end up putting in one to give it more gigs of RAM, it would be running slower, and I don't want to do that. So I was really hoping I could put another one in there for him, but I don't have one for the high enough speed. This one is 1600. I don't have any of those. So I'm going to jump over to here, and I'm going to take the whole tray out. Here's a better view for you. We've got 1 screw right here. We've got 1 screw right up there, and then 1 screw down here. And once those screws are out, you can definitely see this is nice and loose now. You've got a little pin right there, so you do have to lift straight up to get that out of its little place. And then you just have the ribbon connector. As you can see, I'm moving around a little bit. You have that ribbon connector, which is the only thing keeping that in place. So we need to unplug it from here. Do not pull on any of the ribbons or the connectors. Just pull from here. And if you can get your fingers around that, pull it out. Or what you can do is you can detach it from here and then take it off separately. And just like that, it comes right out. So we're gonna keep these little side slots here so we can actually screw it back in. So on both sides, there's gonna be 2 black screws. You can see one here and one here on both sides. And we're just gonna grab our new SSD and pop these on. And bada bing, bada boom, we're done. Brackets on both sides with the 2 screws, exactly the same place as the other one, no issues there. So when we put this back, you can see that's the board where we got it on. This is exactly how I got it out, with the long connector and short connector. Sometimes they're separate, sometimes it's one whole piece. This one's one whole piece, so you don't have to even get that screwed up. We're gonna put it right back here where it was. Make sure that connector's out of the way. Okay, I just finished up screwing everything back in place. So just the 3 screws that I was on, the one up there, the one up there, and the one down there. Now for this connector, I do suggest you do the connector before screwing everything in, because this little piece of plastic right here is kind of gonna get in your way just a little bit. I was able to get it on without, but just to make it even easier, put it on beforehand and then put it into place and then screw it down. Now, like I said, just the opposite. So I'm gonna turn this back over and put the top back on it, and of course the drive back in there, and put all the screws back in. Alright, so now I need to boot into the BIOS. Honestly, I have no idea how to do that, but a quick Google search says escape key, so I'm gonna try that first of all. So we're gonna hit the power button, you're gonna hear it boot up, and then I'm just gonna hit the escape key over and over and hope we get into the BIOS menu. Well, never mind. It just went straight to setup. Basically what you want to do is you want to go into BIOS to make sure it goes off the USB first instead of the new hard drive that you put in, but it looks like it found it anyway and I didn't need to go into BIOS, so we're good to go. Terms and licenses, of course, I have read through all of that and I accept it. I'm going to do the custom setting. And right in here where it says, where do you want to install Windows? Of course, the only place that you can install it is your new hard drive, and it's going to start the installation process. And right now we are going through our first restart, and this is basically after the USB has booted onto our new SSD, so it's getting everything set up. Hi. And here we are back into Windows with a fresh install. None of that bloatware stuff, it's just straight Windows and nothing else. So first things first, we're going to use Microsoft Edge to, well, get rid of Microsoft Edge and go to Google Chrome, because that's what normal people do. And of course, before I do any tests, I'm going to make sure this thing is completely up to date. So I went down to the search menu, put in up, and update pops up here. So I'm going to click on updates. I'm going to make sure there's no Windows updates. If there is, I'm going to go through, and holy crap, that's a lot. So I just shut down the computer. I downloaded everything that I needed to. All of your drivers should be on those Windows updates. If you feel like something's wrong, like for me, the screen was a little bit laggy. I don't know why. It was like I would move the mouse around and then it would stop and then catch up, stop and then catch up. I was guessing that was some sort of display or graphics driver. It said it was up to date, so what I did instead is I went to AMD, which is what the driver is for this, downloaded their latest drivers, installed it, and it fixed the problem. So Windows should have everything up to date. If not, figure out what's not working. If your Ethernet's not working, just figure out what's not working and find the latest driver. But I've got everything shut off now. This is going to be a cold restart, actually startup, since it's not on. I completely shut it down. Nothing's working right now. Let's see the time difference. And there we go. Just like that, it needs to be restarted already. Okay, so even though it still needed a restart for, I guess, some other updates that needed to be installed, I'm just gonna keep that time just so I don't have to restart it again. But that was so much faster, I don't even need to look at the times. So the next thing I'm gonna do the same thing, gonna go down to Files. Now, this one is Windows 10, but it's basically the same thing for your File Explorer. So we're gonna click on Files down here, and boom, it's already opened up. It's It's like a billion times quicker. Documents, desktop, this PC, it's it's almost instant. So all of that, really can't time it. So let's go straight into Google Chrome. And we're at Google. So let's go to youtube.com. Give it a second to boot all of the thumbnails, and we're done. Oh, look at that, me at the zoo, the very first YouTube video. Huh. Anyway, I don't think I even need to put times on there, but I'm gonna do it anyway. That is fast. So, I hope he enjoys this when I give it to him. I hope you guys enjoyed this video for how to do all this stuff. And if you didn't enjoy it and you give me a thumb down, then someone should poop in your pillowcase.